Hello friends, this video on electric current and its effects part 12 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So let us first look at the construction of electric bell. Normally you would have seen this type of bell, especially present in offices. So where you just press it and you get a sound, right? So what is it made up of? So once we know the construction, only then we will be able to understand its working. So it basically consists of a wire. So here you have the wire which is turned around the iron piece which forms the core. So the wire and the iron piece, this iron piece forms the core of the electromagnet and the wire is turned around over it. And these two together form the electromagnet. So you have this entire setup of electromagnet here. Then you have a hammer, which you can see here. You have this hammer. Now whenever the hammer will strike the gong, a sound will be produced. So that is where the sound gets produced when we press the electric bell. You have an iron strip. So this iron strip gets attached to the electromagnet. So if you see here, you have an iron strip here which is kind of attached to the electromagnet when current flows through it. So we will see how does that happen. You also have a contact screw. So this is the contact screw here. So sometimes when current flows through it, sometimes it will come in contact, sometimes it will leave the contact. So we will see how the contact forms and breaks. So we will see that when we talk about the working. So these are the basic important parts of the electric bell. So you have the electromagnet here, you have the iron strip here, you have the contact screw here, the hammer and the gong. So let us now look at the working of an electric bell. Now what happens is when we switch it on, so initially this is the initial condition 1 and this is the final condition when current flows through the circuit. So in the initial condition the switch is off, so there is no current which is flowing through the circuit, through the wires. So therefore this is how the setup is. Now when we switch it on, then what happens? Current flows through this electromagnet, through these wires. Now as current flows through this wire, the magnetic effect is produced, that is a magnetic field is produced surrounding this area. Now this magnetic field is experienced by this soft iron strip. So when current flows through the wire, this soft iron strip gets attracted. So as you can see here it was in this position, now it gets attracted, so it slightly moves towards the electromagnet. Now as it gets attracted, it moves this side. So what happens? This contact which was initially existed, now the contact breaks. So you see the contact breaks. There is no more contact. Why? It moved this way because this also moved this way. Now as this moves this side, what happens? This hammer also moves in this direction and the hammer strikes the gong. And when the hammer strikes the gong, a sound is produced. And now you see what happened. Now since the contact broke, what happened? Now the circuit is no more complete because there is a break in the circuit. Now when the circuit is no more complete, what will happen? Now the electric current will stop flowing. Now when the electric current stops flowing, then what? Then again it goes back to condition 1, when no current is flowing. Correct? Again, when current starts flowing, it comes back to state 2. And that's how this entire process repeats, and as a result, every time the hammer strikes the gong, we hear a sound. And that is how electric bell produces sound. So you see here the main role is being performed by the electromagnet, because it is due to the electromagnet that this contact forms and breaks. So that happens because of the electromagnet. Now, since an electromagnet, it becomes very easy to produce the magnetic field and to remove the magnetic field just by controlling the current. So that is the most important advantage of electromagnet over permanent magnets. So in this scenario, we cannot think of using a permanent magnet instead of the electromagnet, because had it been a permanent magnet, we cannot switch on and off the magnetic effect of that magnet. Right? So that's the main advantage of electromagnet, and this is how electric bell works. So let us have a quick recap. As we saw that current flows through the closed circuit. So when it is connected to the battery and everything, so current flows through the circuit. As a result, coil wound around iron core acts as electromagnet. So the iron strip gets attracted. So this iron strip will get attracted towards the electromagnet. As a result, the contact with the screw will be broken. And as a result of this, the hammer would strike the gong. As soon as the hammer strikes the gong, since it has broken, so the circuit is now open circuit, therefore no current will flow through the circuit. Now when no current flows, this doesn't behave like an electromagnet anymore. That means it doesn't produce any magnetic field, and the iron strip goes back to the original position. So basically the reverse thing is happening now. Contact with the screw develops again, and again the closed circuit. Now as soon as the contact develops, it is a closed circuit. Again current flows through the circuit, and this process keeps repeating. So every time the circuit is closed, the hammer would strike the gong and the sound will be produced. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.